What's up, guys? This is your Week 9 recap. We got Din dealing with some stuff, so Din, take care of the family. I got this week's recap. Might be a little shorter than normal, but uh, let's go ahead and dive in. Coming off a week where we had a lot of defenses put up some decent points, and we also had not too many close matchups. Most teams were between like the 130 and 170, I think was the range. We have one super close matchup we'll get towards the end. But let's go ahead and start off. We'll start off with myself and Mikey T. I take it down 175.2 to 155.6. You know the deal. Antonio Brown, Devontae Adams, little MVS in the flex spot, no big deal, 15 points. And then James White and James Conner hooking it up for sure. Mikey T puts up 155.6, not too bad. Christian McCaffrey, CMC, Jared Goff, 30-plus points. But Doug Martin, 7.9 points. Demaryius Thomas, 9.1 points. Joe Flacco, 8.2. Jordan Reed, 7.4. Little bit of mediocrity there. So Mikey T takes the L, does not improve in the standings, but as we look to some of the next matchups, Cage also lost. So no big deal there for Mikey T. He can still climb out of that basement. Next up, we have Hoff and Pop. Hoff started off the week with a little screen cap, I think, talking about Kevin, just taking the L right away by not changing out his receivers. Kevin does change out his receivers. He gets Mike Williams, Laquan Treadwell in there, Anthony Miller. They all put up about 10 to 5 points. So Kevin takes the loss, 142.1 to Haas, 173.6. Kevin also had some other players do decent. Kelsey hooks it up, Greg Olsen hooks it up, but gets a -1 from his Rams defense, where Hoff gets about 13 from the Titans defense. That's a pretty big gap there. Hofstetter looks good when Kamara looks good. So, little warning sign for Hoff maybe. Adrian Peterson sort of getting phased out if the Washington Redskins are behind, because AP's got some stone hands. He can catch the ball a little bit, but be curious what that looks like from a game script standpoint, Hoff. I know you've probably done the research and, ran different algorithms based upon the NFL spread, based upon Vegas totals, but that's probably why you've been winning recently. So, you're still only one game above 500, but you'll get there. He goes back to the well to get Brock Osweiler again, 6 points, but I believe he's already got Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan on their bye, so he should be good the rest of the way. Julio Jones finally scores a touchdown. Julio Jones been a yardage monster, but no touchdowns, and finally, that was a freaking sick touchdown. Just a beast among men, just throwing it down, fighting Josh Norman to get into the end zone. So that was pretty cool to see. I'm a big Julio fan. And then Matt Ryan putting up a 32 spot. So Matt Ryan, Julio Jones stack looking good. Sammy Watkins, 11.4 points. He might be sitting out this week for our matchup from what I hear, Hoff. So nice win, but you got me this week. So we'll see what happens. Next up, we have Matty Reg versus Loomski. Anytime you can get a W with your best player on a bye, that is a good thing. So when you look at Register's matchup, he had Saquon, T.Y., and T.J. Yeldon, and his waiver wire pickup Jack Doyle on a bye. And those players have been doing good for him. So good for you, Reg. Solid performances, not too big a standout besides Keenan Allen finally getting off the schneid, finally breaking a 20-plus point barrier. But just a lot of players putting up decent numbers for you. And then, of course, your Vikings put up 24. If your defense puts up a 20 spot, you hope you better win. But if you're Jason Lumen and you have the Dolphins, you put up 26, you still lose somehow. Jason Lumen, 138.1. Todd Gurley cannot carry the team, finally doesn't put up 30 points, only barely under 20. But everyone else, Jared Cook, David Moore, Jalen Richard, Devontae Parker, Kirk Cousins, all under 9 points. Not going to cut it for sure, Lumen. So I think that is a 3-game losing streak for Lumen, so you better watch out. Although Lumen did have a lot of players on a bye, but still. You got to beat Reggie when he's losing Saquon Barkley, T.Y. Hilton for a bye too. Next up, we have Ellsbury versus Cage. Cage, I don't have a poem. I don't have a song because I got kind of short notice. I don't know if I would have made one anyways, but you get the Bumbo again, 119.8, just like Jim last week. You could not break 120. Ellsbury wins by putting up 155. Cage, let's look at some players. Trubisky, Drake, Booker, Lockett, Cobb, Gabriel, all under 10 points. George Kittle was probably your lone bright spot along with Cooper Kupp, but you traded away George Kittle to me, so we'll see how that works out for you. Now you got some more depth. And of course, Phillip Rivers doesn't have a high ceiling this year, but puts up about 20 points. Ellsbury looking good. Kareem Hunt, man. I think after the first two games, you might have been a little scared, but dude, he's just breaking our 50-yard bombs like crazy. But again, just like every recap with Ellsbury, Jordy Nelson, Damian Amendola, Mohamed Sanu, like these wide receivers just hopefully won't cut it for you when you're in the playoffs if you are, because I know I would not like it if I lost to some of those wide receivers. But either way, Ellsbury, Mariota, nice little pickup, 24.8. That was a smart pickup. He looked pretty good. Ellsbury gets the convincing win over Cage. Next, we have a fun little matchup, 165.8 for Omar to Malardsky's 134.7. It was a pretty close matchup, and Omar even thought he was going to lose. Sends out a couple text messages, furious about some of his trade results. And then all of a sudden, Drew Brees and Michael Thomas just go off for several points. Drew Brees, 35.4. Michael Thomas, 44.1. I don't think there's a wide receiver in the NFL that has a higher ceiling per game than Michael Thomas. So he was able to survive. Buck Allen, 6.4. Mark Ingram, 2.6. Got to be careful of that one, Omar, because Sean Payton likes to put Mark Ingram in the doghouse if he fumbles the ball. Matthew Stafford is probably droppable now, 6.6 points. Kenny Golladay, the trade. I like the trade, but 8.4 points for Golladay, or 8.4 points for Golladay. I can talk, I swear. So, but it doesn't matter because Jim only puts up 134. Jim had some decent performances, but his wide receivers brought him down. Mike Evans, John Brown, DJ Moore, all under 7 points. So, and they had some pretty good matchups too. So that was kind of disappointing for Jim. I know he was looking for more out of his wide receivers. Again, Dak Prescott is going to get you like 15 points a week, so not too bad, but you have to have other players hook it up for you. So Jim takes the L on the bad side of the losing streak, 2 in a row. So Jim, you need a W. And Jim, just a reminder, you owe us 6 different pictures over 6 different weeks. Because it was the amount of wins versus the amount of losses between the championship and last place, Dirty Sanchez yourself. We're coming up on week 10. Our league goes to week 16. So we need to start seeing some pictures, because if we don't, I don't know. But you have to do 6 pictures over 6 weeks. So we need to see that picture in public. Someone else taking that picture with you and that shit trophy, because you need to embrace it. Omar fixed it, added more poop to it. So I hope to see some smiling Jim Malarsky out in public with letting everyone know that you can't manage fans football team correctly from last year. This year, though, Jim, you're looking better. So I don't think you're going to be a repeat. Last but not least, we have the Mike versus Mike. Mikey Dinn versus Mikey Wyckoff. Going into the night, I think there's like 0.3 points separating them. We had a kicker versus garbage Cole Beasley. We had a couple bets on it, and Wyckoff was looking okay, even though his kicker missed a field goal, because Cole Beasley literally had 0 targets through 3 quarters. But then all of a sudden, about 8 minutes left, Cole Beasley gets like 4 or 5 targets in a row, and we know that the Cowboys were down by like 2 touchdowns, so they weren't going to kick any field goals. So Dinn puts a win 163.7 to 160.3. I was able to win some more money, which is always a good thing. But again, decent week by Wyckoff. Mahomes hooking it up. DeAndre Hopkins hooking it up. O.J. Howard, Jordan Howard. all with 16 plus points. Most does into 20 points. But, you know, Tariq Cohen, 2.3 points. And Lamar Miller, 6.8 in your running back spot. Like, that's the main difference. But also, big note, Josh Gordon actually went off. So Omar wasn't able to take advantage of that because we all know how much Omar likes Josh Gordon. But Wyckoff gets the fruit of that labor, but still takes the L. Speaking of defenses that put up lots of points, Bears put up a 30 spot for Din. So again, you better win when your defense does that. He gets 21 from Russell. Adam Humphries, are you freaking kidding me? Waiver wire boy, 28.9. I mean, freaking, like, come on. Like, look at Din's. I got to call this out for a second. Rashard Higgins, Benjamin Watson, Adam Humphries, injured Dalvin Cook, who was literally slated to get like 8 to 12 carries. And then freaking Cole Beasley, like, and he still gets up the W, so, and puts up a decent amount of points. So, Din, I guess I can criticize you all I want, but hey, when you get the W, you get the W. So, feeling good there. And Ding gets the 20 spot for the bonus this week. Let's look at some standings. We have myself at 9-0, Mr. Din by himself, Kokamish 1-2 at the top, 6-3. Then we have Hoff and we have Loomski, Omar, and Ellsbury 5-4. A lot of bunched up there. And then we have Jim, Wyckoff, Reggie, all at 4-5. Kevin 3-6, getting close to that basement spot. And then we have Mikey T and Cage at 2-7, going for that Dirty Sanchez. So it's going to be a fun 4 weeks left. Trade deadline is over. This week we are doing pick'ems. I sent the picture out. Thursday night game tonight, so please get them to me. You have an extra hour because of daylight savings is in effect for all other states. So that means I believe it's a 6:15 or 6:20 kickoff. I am working tonight, so please send them my way. If they are not in, you do not get a chance to win $20. So I hope you enjoy Thursday night game. I have Antonio Brown, so you might see a Antonio Brown text message or two, depending on how he does. I know you guys love those. So, but guys, keep going. Fun little playoff race because we have about 8 to 9 teams in contention. So we'll see what happens. Peace.